Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, hopefully you guys are doing well. Everybody's staying healthy and blessed. It's the holiday season. I understand that it's a very stressful time of the year between like finals, work, company layoffs, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys are doing all right. If you're not, we try to be there for you, and it will get better at some point. But today we're going to have a video. I just want to use this video to kind of talk between my community, you guys that watch me, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, you guys follow me on Twitter, and you clicked on this video. And yeah, I just want this video to be me and my community. So I'd love if this video just stayed between my community and I. It didn't really float around as one of those just reaction videos that everybody's kind of going for. I understand right now that sometimes those are beneficial because you get different opinions. But this for me is just a video that I want to talk about with specifically you guys that watch me. I want to have an open dialogue between you and me. I haven't uploaded on the channel for 2 or 3 days, and that's because I have not only nothing to upload. I probably could upload stuff, but I just don't feel like anything was going to be good to post, and I don't really like to just post quantity. I like to make sure that the videos that are being posted are really good. And I've just been kind of thinking about making a video like this for probably a couple days now, just with the way that FIFA has felt this year. And there's just been so many things that have piled up over the last couple of weeks that I'd be kind of waiting to see if they were going to get better. They haven't gotten better. And yeah, so we're going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to stop rambling. We are going to have a little bit of that notepad action. I want to talk about a couple things. And for me, it helps me organize a little bit. So yeah, mainly we're going to be talking about FIFA 23 and just a lot of the things that I see going on right now in the community. You know, right now... It's a really interesting time on FIFA because it's probably the earliest I've ever seen a continuous amount, not continuous, but overall amount of people pretty burnt out with the game. And I don't just say this about creators because I think a lot of the time as creators, we only look at the situation on FIFA about ourselves. We don't really consider the fact that there's this whole community around it and consider a lot of times how our viewers feel. And I can definitely tell you that from streaming and from being on Twitter, a lot of my viewers are just done with this game. Like, a lot of people are not really playing anymore. Half of my resub messages now are just like people coming in the stream saying they love to keep supporting, but they're just not even playing anymore. And to me, it's totally understandable because I think this is a very, like, I don't even think it's a burnout. I think it's just boredom. And a lot of people are, you know, using the last couple of days or weeks rather, to blame EA, to blame World Cup. So my initial thing was I was feeling that FIFA was just really dead, like in the beginning of November. It's December 15th right now. Black Friday was really fun. I'm not going to lie about that. But right now, I have this general feeling of boredom. I feel very bored playing this game, and a lot of people I think that watch me feel really bored playing this game. And I think there's a couple of reasons why that we can completely like look at. So for me, the main issue with the game this year is the game actually is not much different than last year's game between the modes and the gameplay. Now, initially, when we started 23 compared to 22, everybody was like, yo, this is so different. For me, in my first week of playing this game, if you go back to my streams, I was taking a lot of heat for it because I was sitting there saying, this game is really boring. It's the same thing overall, except a couple of things. Now, the things that really changed for me this year, the game got a little slower and was clunkier. So everybody had to learn how to kind of readjust their left stick dribbling and the pace of the way the game plays. I don't think the game is actually horrible, but we still have many issues in the game that I don't want to go over a million times because it's just going to sound like I'm complaining and whining. I just want to make this video to talk about FIFA with you guys that like to watch me every day and kind of where my mindset is at so I can explain it to you in just as unbiased of a way as possible. And yeah, so sorry for all the tangents that I'm going to go on during this video. So yeah, I think there's this built-in drop back that's really relevant, right? And I think a lot of times when people log onto a video game, they like to attack, they like to play fast. They're not a huge fan of playing against AI. Maybe you're into story mode campaigns. There's nothing wrong with that. That would be the closest thing to gaming with AI. I don't love the current format with defending and the way it is. And what I mean by that is that most of you guys know that play this game, if you play it on next gen, which I've tried out the old gen version of this game, it's equally horrible. I hate it. It feels beyond outdated. So there's this weird balance where like new gen has all these animations and kind of feels a little bit better, but also is horrible. And then old gen maybe is a little bit better, but also is horrible because it feels so outdated. So we're in quite a pickle with FIFA 23 right now. Now, for me, the main thing here is that I really feel like FIFA 23, FIFA 22, and FIFA 21. I think EA in these years, now, yes, FIFA 19 is probably one of the worst FIFAs we've ever had. I think most people can agree with that. The people that like that game are people that enjoy the content and enjoy the high-scoring games and the chaos, right? If you enjoy the chaos in gaming, I can understand that for sure. I actually feel like right now, FIFA 23, besides all this defensive AI, has, let's say, like a little bit more rewarding of a game than we had in the last year or two. I feel like this year there is some reward to beating people by going down the line, cutting back. You know, it's very similar to FIFA 22, but FIFA 23 is a little rewarding. The problem is it's boring, okay? It's really boring. Playing this game is not sustainable for a long amount of time between the game modes or the actual gameplay. So I've wrote down a couple of notes about my real thoughts as I'm typing to you guys. So for me, over the years, I have made so many rant videos. I used to go at it. I used to be like really emotional, really cared. And I just noticed like in the last year or two, I love streaming. I love creating content, but I really stopped caring about FIFA. Like I just don't really care anymore. I go through the motions a lot of the time. It's probably why I'm not finishing as well in many of maybe rivals or weekend league. It's because I think a lot of people have lost this general motivation to grind the game. And when you lose that motivation, yes, you adapt to maybe a more fun play style and more relaxed manner as you play, but you do miss that competitive feeling and you miss really grinding out the game. And I don't even know the last time, you know, for FIFA being my job, I'm still streaming 5 to 6 to 7 hours a day, but I don't know the last time I sat down and like had like a 4-hour FIFA session. I don't know. And that's concerning because right now, this is the third month. This is the second and a half month of this game. So believe it or not, we've got about 10 months left of FIFA 23. 10 months! I've never made a video this early. Usually these videos are being made in the summer. I don't even make these before Team of the Season because even when we have lulls during Team of the Season, usually it still feels like there's stuff to grind for or stuff to go for. And right now it just doesn't even feel that way. So I really have come to this conclusion that I feel like EA is really taking advantage of all of us. I think they know that a lot of people are going to buy the game every year, including myself. A lot of people are addicted to the game. I fell out of that addiction a couple years ago. I play it to create income a lot of the time with FIFA. As much as I do enjoy it at times, I don't have that feeling anymore. I lost it a couple years ago for sure. Probably somewhere between in the middle of FIFA 21, I really lost that passion with this game. And I think I would really blame it on the whole entire next-gen mechanics and how they've really handled it. And I think for me, one of the first points that I want to talk about, you could look at FIFA 21 to FIFA 23. So 22, we'll do this, right? All of these games for me had this level up with AI that just got out of control and it made the game feel very robotic. So while EA was creating all of these animations and things like this where they were adding thousands of animations to the new gen compared to the old gen, I think EA got really lazy. I think what they did is EA slowed the game down a ton to showcase new animations. If you look at the speed of play in FIFA 20, FIFA 19, FIFA 18, 17, it's rapid compared to what we play now. What we play now is very, very slow, and I think they slowed it down to make all the animations really prevalent and showcased. But for me, it's made the game very boring because the game is so slow now to play and so robotic. I have said this word, robotic, over like 30 times in the last month because people come on my stream and say, why don't you not enjoy FIFA anymore? Why don't you love it? And I'm like, well, you kind of do the same thing every time, right? You pass the ball from side to side. You run down the line. You don't actually cross. So to all the people that are commenting, hey, you know, isn't that realistic in real life, right? That is not really realistic. Most of the time in real life, if you're running down the line, you're either going to play a first-time service to the near or far post, usually the near post with a runner, or cut back and finesse shot. There's not much of this, like, go down the line, cut back, or do, like, 7 skills, and then, like, play it into the midfield, play it to the other midfielder, go down the other line, try it again until you have this kind of whole extra pass setup that we've seen a million times when people score before. And I'm not really here to argue with people whether you think FIFA should be realistic, not realistic. I don't really care what you want in a game. I don't even really care too much. I just want to have fun, and I'm making this video because I think FIFA 23 is really boring. And I don't think that any of us should be having to play a football game that's boring. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? Like, how can a football game be boring? This is the sport that we all love. So it doesn't make any sense why this game is boring. And I think I've pinpointed it to a couple of things, right? The game is a lot slower. It's very robotic now. And because of that, there's way less kind of skill gap the last 3 years generally, because you're having to react a lot. You're having more time to react because it's slower. And animations take longer. If we want to talk about specific gameplay things that I don't really love in the current modern FIFA, and look, me talking about this stuff, it's not going to change anything. I just want to talk with you guys who watch me so we can kind of discuss what we don't like, because I'm so past the point of like posting a video, hearing a message from somebody that works at EA saying, hey, we saw the video, you know, we really appreciate your feedback. At the end of the day, guys, you know, as much as those guys are nice and fair play to them, a lot of these guys at EA are actually nice guys, believe it or not. They can't even do anything because EA is just so, like, they have such a good system of making money right now that why would they change stuff? And I think that's the problem, where I think there's a lot of us that are the real hardcore players that we're really losing touch with this game, and it doesn't matter because FIFA has really just turned into this casino now, and it's got more daily logins. Even if the sustained, like, viewership through the day is very low, everyone's logging in still to see the new gamble every day, right? So that's all EA cares about, really. They're selling games. They're selling the ability for people to log in and check out the gamble, and that's just what it is. So for me, there's a couple issues as well with the game feeling robotic. I would say repetitive is another one, right? We know that, and that's with an I for everybody that's going to say I can't spell. Okay, you've got ISO ball. You've got extra pass slash cutback. All right. And then you've got Skill Fest 1v1. Okay, so for me, what makes a FIFA really fun is being able to pass around someone at fast pace, right? We don't really have that anymore. You can't, once you get to the back line of this built-in drop back, you can't really do that anymore. It's not like you can just pass around people. With FIFA, you've got to kind of learn how to skill now, or, you know, cancels have been completely removed this year, so you can't even really cancel. Those are very slow. So it's turned into this game where, like, it's just a skill fest to get open, which is kind of crazy because that's not really like a football game. Yes, isolating wingers and getting one-on-ones with skills is realistic, but that's usually to open up to a finesse shot or a cross, right? It's not really like, okay, I'm going to get in the middle and get a 1v1 every time and do like an elastico or something to get open, right? So that part I hate, right? Because I feel like that part feeds into the robotic feel of the game. Extra pass cutback is just getting ridiculous because really at the top level, it's the best thing you can do. You can play a wide formation, you run down the line, you cut back, you do the same thing all game, right? And what's getting really robotic and repetitive, whether you're like a Division 5 player, a pro player, is that this is getting so predictable now, right? Where people just have to defend against it for 90 minutes and play like it, that there's not too many alternative play styles, which sucks. And that's something as well that would feed into both of these factors. We talked about robotic, repetitive, right? Because you can't play a lot of play styles, but in FIFA nowadays, it just feels so assisted. I think assistance is the main problem. Okay, ISO ball. Same thing we kind of talked about with the 1v1 skill fest. ISO ball sucks because when I play, and what I mean by this is like isolation ball. So you're always just trying to isolate a one-on-one. You could argue that's realistic as well, but I don't know, man. Just over the years with FIFA, it's not really been the way it has been played. A lot of times, again, it's been passing through people, combination of passing through the midfield. Right now, that's so hard to play, that pure, like, football style on FIFA, and it's getting harder every year. So, yeah, for me, this is all why we feel really bored. Now, for me, I feel like EA has really invested. This is gonna be long notes today, guys. Their work, right, has gone into the casino and not the game. Okay, so this is also a huge problem with me, right? We have had this year so many like new packs, new SBCs. Yes, the player SBCs have been bad. So much content that I don't feel like EA actually works on the game anymore. They just know that everyone is so addicted. All right, I've got this note, right? A lot of people who play this game are addicted to collecting and gambling, but not actually FIFA, and they don't realize it. They log on every day. They want to collect cards. They want to gamble. Now, that's okay. It's the same thing I always said. Like, if you're into trading, I was really, really, really passionate about trading for years. That's okay also, right? But the problem is, I feel like EA, maybe you could say that EA are being smart, but they are being manipulative, all right? They're being manipulative towards these people, in my opinion. That's what sucks, right? Is that there's a lot of us that we really enjoy all of the game's aspects between like the market. Yes, we like, obviously, guys, I love doing icon packs, right? It's so fun. But there's a lot of us that enjoy other aspects of the game, and we don't really enjoy them anymore because, well, they haven't changed in like 4 or 5 years. I mean, honestly, Foot Champs, Rivals, Draft, it's all a reskin, right? And even the best stuff that EA has done in the past with like friendlies last year, right? So for me, I always say like at the end of last year, EA did some amazing stuff with friendlies where they were putting in like a cup, and then you could play a certain amount of matches. If you got a certain amount of wins out of those matches, you would get cup rewards. The problem is this year they have been doing that. I will show you guys what I'm talking about right now. The issue that they have been doing in a lot of things this year has been game limits, right? Game limits are the dumbest thing you can do in a video game. How can you limit your player base to a certain amount of games of a game mode, right? What even is that, right? How is that even possible? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you ever limit a community towards how much they could play? So, for example, this Phenoms Cup, right? This is the problem. For like 3 weeks now, this is a very sweaty mode, right? So it'd be fun to grind. The problem is EA are too scared to even give good untradeable rewards, right? So at the end of the day, we have to be realistic about FIFA. All of us now don't really play FIFA because we love it. We play it because we play for rewards. And that's what I've talked about in many videos before, is that that's not good. So when that's not good, nobody wants to play. And this is the prime example. We have had the same copy-paste mega pack, 84 plus, 83 plus. I have given alternatives in the past in videos. I'm not going to go through it, but this is a prime example of what I mean. A decent concept, probably actually one of the best concepts of what we have in this game right now, and EA just doesn't give a crap. They don't change it. They're lazy, right? So look, it's understandable from EA's perspective that they would be lazy with something like this because maybe it doesn't make them a lot of money compared to the other stuff. I get it. That's for me. I'm just speaking with my community and you guys. That's what sucks, right? Is that that's being taken advantage of, which sucks. For me, it's generally lazy. Okay, so other things we're talking about. Swaps and rewards are really the only things that we play for. This game will probably never be great again in reality. I totally agree with that point that I've written down, because that's really how I feel. I mean, FIFA at the end of the day is always going to be a bad game, guys. All of us are always going to complain. All of us are always going to say it could be better, but it's really kind of been going downhill and we just don't even realize it. Like, just when we think it can't get worse, it does get worse. I, again, feel like this year is maybe actually a little bit better than last year. Maybe it's better than 21, but the problem is it's now gotten to the point where it's just so stale to play. The rewards are just so mid that just nobody even cares about the game, because it's just, you play and you're not angry, you're not like upset anymore, you're not raging at outcomes, you're actually just like bored. We talked about it in the stream the other day. A lot of people were like, I just feel empty when I log on and play this game. I feel really empty inside. You don't have this feeling that fulfills of playing a video game where you're like competing, you're sweating. I don't know, it's just not there anymore with FIFA. It could just be a group of people that are really like burnt out of it. I hear that, but I personally feel like EA are really taking advantage of that. Now, the one thing I would say about this is that a lot of this is, with this game, is self-inflicted, and I will give the benefit to EA there, as much as I hate to do that. We got some of what we wanted, guys, because for years, we complained about pack weight. They made pack weight better. Now what happened? The market is dead. We wanted, well, I didn't want, a lot of people wanted less games. I thought 30 was great. I do hear the people that are employed, but again, I think game limits are so stupid. I think they're so dumb. Like, even in the first place, I don't even think it should have been 30 or 40 back in the day. I hate to compare it to PES because, like, it's a totally different game, eFootball. eFootball does something right now with the Weekend Showdown where they take your, like, best 15 games. So there's no limit. They're just going to take your best 15 matches. I think that's a really cool concept because, number one, if you only have time for 15 games, you could just play those 15 games, and however you do is however you do. Number two, if you have all weekend and you're really looking forward to playing, you can go through and play 100 matches and it'll take your best 15 in a row, right? So there's no limit, right? Where yes, you maybe miss out on some of that pressure, but there's still going to be pressure, right? So your argument there is like, okay, when I get to match 13 or 14 or 15, I'm going to be sweating because I know I'm on a really good run and I want to close it out strong. I don't want to have to restart my 15 again. So that's a really cool thing that they do. So with the game modes, I feel like for me, a lot of this stems from the fact that I've made videos on this. The game modes are all the same, guys. It's literally the same, man. They added an offline mode with moments, which is actually good, but it's not a mode that you like are sitting there on your couch like, oh my God, I have to log on to FIFA to play moments. Like, that's just it's really not a thing. So, I mean, that's where you look at it. It's like there's been one mode from the offline side of things that was added. That's not going to counter all the other issues. Rivals is the exact same. Foot Champions is the exact same. Friendlies, they've been doing a couple of things with it, I guess is okay or an improvement, but still, none of that content outside of swaps has been worth it to grind compared to everything else. And then for me, the worst part about all this is like, you know, with other games like Call of Duty and stuff, like they make updates. Like EA does not even update draft at all, really. I mean, they update some of the players, but the format, you know, I find it so embarrassing. Like even right now, we've had this thing all year where like EA's added this alternative positions thing, and you still can't even like choose a player in the draft and then change their position. So some players you just can't even use, which is just like nuts to me. What was the point of adding the alternate positions? But fact is, it's the same exact thing. It's been, I believe, 8 years since it was released, and it's the same thing. So we really do have this problem with modes. I could sit here and make a 30-minute video on other modes that they could add, but that's not my job. So I'm not going to do that. But yeah, it's as simple as like, where's the emphasis on playing with friends? Every other game, NBA 2K that I played this summer, plays with friends. The only other game is eFootball, and that's because eFootball literally, like, I think doesn't even have like the money or the resources to do that. So they're rolling out game modes every couple of months, but they actually did have like a 3v3 competition before a couple years ago. Call of Duty, all of these games, right? You play with your friends, right? FIFA, you have the option to do co-op and rivals, and that's it. You can't play co-op draft. You can't play co-op. You can't play co-op foot champs. There's not a separate mode for co-op foot champs. I mean, EA is just like being stupid because right now what they're doing is they're actually limiting themselves so much to a system of content and packs where they don't realize that their untapped potential, it's not with co-op, it's not with 2v2, it's not with 3v3, it's not with that, right? Because I know people sit there and say, this is the future, right? It's not the future. When you look at streamers who play with other people on stream, they don't get any views because people don't care. But the reason why people don't care is there's no purpose to play, right? It's a very different story if you're competing on a team with people and there's a real purpose. There's something in the game that people really want. I could give you a million examples. There should be another game mode for Foot Champ. There should be another game mode for Rivals. There should be separate qualifying to all the events. The infrastructure for EA to be able to afford, considering they make millions of dollars a weekend, it's not that expensive. They own all these servers, and to be honest, EA have really improved the servers over the last 2 to 3 years, I would say. Now, that's obviously going to be super situational towards what location you're in, but they have really improved the servers. Like, the gameplay responsiveness is really good compared to what it used to be a couple years ago. I'll give them that. The problem, again, is always still around the content time. It's terrible. That's always a real frustration of mine, that it's just so delayed over content time. But game modes is a massive, massive problem. Now, what's funny to me is that this PlayStation Tournaments mode, which is not EA's thing, it's PlayStation. PlayStation have come into this game and added a mode that is better than any mode EA has added. I genuinely believe this. Since probably the Daily Knockout Tournament. So what is that, FIFA 18 or 17? I mean, that's like 5 years. I feel like this is the best mode that we have. PlayStation Tournaments, basically, it's PS only. You've got these tournaments, right, where you can compete for 500 FIFA points. Now, it's not about the FIFA points, right? But it's a tournament, and it's fun, right? Like, it's crazy that PlayStation is adding stuff that's better than everything EA has added. This mode is incredible. So it's simple stuff like this, like a rotating DKT. There's got to be more emphasis on playing with your friends and a purpose to, and also just better modes, right? Because the modes right now are just extremely not balanced. That's how I feel. Yeah, so that's all on top of the gameplay being very boring, right? And I know that was a crazy rant. Now, also, I don't know what it is with EA. I assume that they like to patch attacking mechanics to make the game closer, because the last 4 patches, for the most part, have all had attacking removals. I went on today, and there was another patch today, okay, about how lob through balls are being nerfed, right? Okay, maybe that was needed to be nerfed. Why is EA not nerfing the AI or the defensive drop back with all these patches? Like, I know that their patches are a bit delayed because of the way that it all works, but it's just a joke. It's just a joke how EA continues to, like, remove the attacking stuff in the game and just make defending better, so we can make a more, you know, automated and robotic game than we already have. I never will understand that. I think it's super lazy. Where's the emphasis on gaming with friends? We talked about that. Okay. Now, other things to talk about, just the current state of where FIFA is. Like, And the thing is, guys, I don't blame this directly on content. Like, I think that Team of the Year is going to be fun. I think Winter Wildcards is going to be fun. But again, we still have this whole problem where, like, we've got this issue with game modes. We've got this real issue with gameplay where the attacking AI, defensive AI sucks. It's so defensive. The game modes blow. Yes, we could have these crazy promos. Yes, we could have all these icon packs, all this stuff. But as you can see, every day, people just whine when there's nothing new. And that's because the game sucks, right? You shouldn't have to play a game every day. Like, that's why for me, I don't make videos every day saying, where the hell is the content, right? The World Cup is on, all this, all that, right? But why do I not want to play the game? And I've decided it's because the game sucks, right? Like, it really does suck. It shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't care what the content is. Yes, it could be a plus. Okay, we're getting a hero pack, icon pack. But FIFA has just turned into this game where, like, it's an entire week, right? And you're just sitting there waiting for EA to actually drop live content to gamble or to start, like, doing SBCs for swaps, right? And that's okay. I'm not taking a jab at the people who only enjoy doing that. I'm taking a jab at EA because you guys shouldn't only enjoy doing that. If you spend $70 or $80 or $90 or $100 on this game a year, you should be able to enjoy, like, everything that's in the game. That's what I don't understand. You should be able to enjoy all of the factors in the game, not just one. It shouldn't have to be every year, oh, I'm going to be a trader. I'm going to be doing SBCs only because I don't like the game, right? No, there's got to be one of these years where you do, and I feel like EA is just really lazy and failing. Like, the gameplay updates are so minimal, and I think they're so scared to change anything because they have such a successful system that they don't. And I just think they're really lucky because there's no competitor. There's no competitor. There's no way that, you know, really any of this is going to change, right? And so hopefully in the future we get that stuff. A couple things I want to talk about, right? Because some pros talking about this stuff. This has been a huge issue for me. I made a video about this the other day. The difference between rank 5 and rank 1 is crazy, right? And that's why also there's a huge, like, thing on the weekend where people only want to play to 11 wins, right? And that's not enough, right? If you're going to play all weekend, 11 wins is like 2 hours. So it makes us sound like we're addicted gamers, but we're not, right? 2 hours is almost nothing. And the difference is just not there. You get the same amount of player picks for rank 5 and rank 1. Like, how is that possible? Do you know how much harder it is to get 20 wins than 11 wins? It's like levels, right? That's a huge problem. Like, I totally agree with this take. FIFA 23 gameplay is actually okay. I wouldn't say okay because this drop back BS is a joke, man. It's a joke when you play this game compared to other games, how manual other games are compared to this game. But agree, right? No motivation to play this game. Now, other things that, you know, EA are really, really kind of just selling here and doing wrong. Like, look at this, right? So this is Shari. Okay? Like, they've added this crossplay, right? Which I think is really necessary. I don't even understand how we don't have crossplay on, like, the market, right? I think that's really stupid. We just have it with Xbox, should be with everybody, right? So we've got these things right now where people are actually, instead of EA kind of coming up with a solution, like, they're not saying anything at all. They're not saying anything about these cheaters on PC. They're not saying a thing. And everybody's just being, like, sitting there being like, okay, let's just turn crossplay off. So again, another thing that, like, with the game modes, the gameplay, EA just doesn't care. They've got a successful system. Like, they're just not even trying to come up with a cover-up. They're just like, okay, whatever, right? Community will figure something out. Everybody's going to turn off crossplay. That's not a solution. So, like, look, for example, right? Shari's playing somebody in Rivals, right, which is a competitive qualifying mode, who's doing ball roll scoops with Sane, right? Sane has 3-star skills, or 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot. So there is a skill move weak foot hack. There is, like, all these hacks, right? We know about this stuff. There's, like, this first time. I think there's a green hack. You've got the ability where I've actually played people who are doing this thing where they go into the game and they let the AI play an ultimate against you. I've got people that are, like, backing you out of stuff. So it's a mess. EA's really got to address that. I wanted to point this out because I think this part is crazy to me. I can't even believe that something like this is in the game. Now, okay, this is what disappoints me the most, right? Now, I play PES, right? I get about half the viewership when I play PES, but I still get a lot of viewership, and I honestly love it. Now, it's a terrible game. It's really not a good game at all. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that PES is a good game, right? It feels very stiff, but it's extremely rewarding. There's a huge skill gap compared to FIFA. And no, I don't sit here and care about graphics 24/7. So other than that, for me, look, so this is what I want to show you guys, right? So the movement in this game, right? This is, like, you could sit here and say, okay, this is just a spamming A pass simulator. Now, what you have to understand about what I'm pointing out here is look at the defensive line, right? So in FIFA, when you go on a counter, the defensive line just runs backwards. The midfield is like holding the defensive line running backwards. I really feel like Konami has their stuff figured out because the spacing in PES eFootball is incredible. Like the spacing is genuinely so good in this game. It's incredible. You can see the midfield is in the midfield, the defensive line is in the back, and you just score these goals that you just don't score those goals on FIFA, right? Like those goals are not scored. I even was I even had a play that I sold on yesterday, right? And this was a play in you can see, look, by the way, look at the defensive line, right? 4 or 5 midfielders, 4 or 5 defenders. You got the midfielders in the midfield, right? Like there's not this, like when you play FIFA, you've got this thing where like you've got this block of 8 and like that's it, right? You got to deal with that, and it's like a joke. Okay, now here's what I want to show you. Okay, this movement, right? So eFootball, I think destroys EA in terms of gameplay. Like I think a lot of people don't like to say that because they think the game looks like it's from 1990, which they're probably right. And number two, they look at eFootball and it's like, wow, the viewership is low on this game. It's terrible compared to FIFA. No, people, I said this in the beginning of the video. People are not addicted to FIFA. People are addicted to collecting cards and gambling. It's not the same. It's not gameplay. Like this game doesn't really have much of that. It has a little bit, but people who play this game just play the game, right? So look, this is what I want to show you guys, right? The attacking AI on this game is literally like 40 million times better than FIFA's, right? You don't have to do the player lock. You shouldn't have to do player lock. You shouldn't have to do time finishing. Okay, so when I'm doing this whole play, like, look, just watch Neymar, right? You don't get these runs in FIFA. Watch when Neymar passes the ball and how he runs and how you can pick someone out. Now, of course, I sold. My name is Pick, right? And that's because I probably played FIFA, right, that day or something, so I was used to making an extra pass. I can totally probably pinpoint that because I was used to making an extra pass, like almost 100%. But that's the type of stuff that, like, that's, if you're looking for an example of what I'm looking for, that's what I'm looking for in FIFA. I sent a video to Inception, which I'm probably gonna leak my DMs right now, but that's okay. I don't really care. Okay, now this is a clip that I sent him this summer because this is one of the greatest clips I've ever seen in a football game, and I don't want to sit here without reason, guys. I want to be able to give you guys things that are very, very good in other games that EA does not have, and I think they're just lazy. They're too scared to add stuff like this. They're too lazy to go in and like code the attacking AI to do stuff like this. It's really not that hard, right? Okay, watch this now, right? First of all, Kimmich wins the ball, okay? Okay, now look at his midfield. Look how much space. So believe it or not, if you go watch back old clips of pros, whether it's like probably Kurt or Gorilla, we used to have this space in the midfield. You used to see guys like that with Hullet sprinting through the midfield, right? We don't have that anymore. It's like almost impossible because of how good the AI is. Okay, so that's the first part about this play. Okay, Kimmich is running through the midfield. I'm sorry, it's Twitter quality, right? Find Neymar. Everybody, okay? I want everybody who's watching this video to watch Mbappe at the top, okay? Just watch Mbappe. Okay, watch Mbappe right now. Okay, because I want you to watch Mbappe even from here, and this is the worst quality I've ever seen. That's Mbappe. He's a right wing, okay? So watch him as we're doing this play. He waits. He continues his run. Okay, this attacking AI, we have nothing close to this in FIFA. Nothing, right? And this level of attacking AI creates a skill gap. Okay, it really does because you can start to pick out plays and watch movement that you don't have in FIFA, right? FIFA is in this feeling right now of us even making this video because it is so robotic, right? And that's why when you see me as a creator playing other games, is because this game is just in that feeling of robotic. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's really where my head is at with FIFA. I just wanted to make a video. I don't really blame I don't really blame, you know, this whole situation with FIFA right now on content. I don't think it's content. Like, we're 2.5 months in and it's just feeling stale and stagnant and the repetitive same old thing. Now, I don't really expect EA to change anything. They've shown us over the years that they're not capable of releasing like a DLC with modes. So I don't know if it's going to be a really long year. Like, I'm still going to create content, but I'm telling EA, like, you guys got to wake up. Like, you guys got to add some more stuff because you guys can only get away with being lazy for so long. I'm telling you right now, I'm a hardcore player, and I'm seeing a lot of hardcore players. They're just bored. Like, they maybe will log onto your game for stats and all that, but they're losing it, man. And, like, you guys got to stop being so lazy. You guys got to make the gameplay more dynamic. You guys have to add better modes. The sky is the limit. Like, I think, you at the end of the day at EA will probably always be the number one. You guys have the entire football community on this packs and log on system, and it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like, you can't hate on it. We all enjoy it, but we're asking for you guys to give us more because it's just the bare minimum. You guys are doing the bare minimum right now. You're doing the absolute minimum you can to collect the check. And I think, which is a huge check, so I'm not going to hate as well, but I think that EA is really losing sight of how large their game could be, right? Like, if they got the other modes, the gaming with friends, the dynamic gameplay, the problem is the game is too catered towards people, or I guess catered towards making games really close with just randomness, right? Instead of like, people really enjoy games that they can improve, they can get better, they can be the best. You can do that in FIFA. My issue is that you've kind of got a couple tiers in FIFA. Once you get to that top tier, it's like super kind of random. It's not like, oh my God, this guy is better than me, even at the top tier, and he's going to beat me like 5-1. And I think that's really concerning. So I feel like I've talked about what I want to talk about today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Yeah, I mean, I think I've talked about everything really here that I want to talk about. And I don't want you guys to take this as like a real negative. I just want to be honest, right? Yeah, I just want to be honest, guys, about like really how I feel about the game. And yeah, just give you guys like my perspective, because I'm not angry. I'm not sitting here like, wow, the content sucks. Like, you probably heard me not even talking about content in this video, because I don't think it's content is the problem. My issue is the laziness, the game modes, and the gameplay. That's my issue with FIFA. Like, I don't think the content is any problem. And I think I always resort back to this. Like, if we have a problem with the market or the pack weight, we all asked for this. EA has delivered this completely. What we lost in all of this is the grind factor of long weekend league nights, monthly rewards, better game modes like DKT with actual player rewards. We lost all of that. And all that stuff before was kind of mediocre. So we went from mediocre to this like super robotic gameplay, and I feel like it's just everything's kind of fallen down. So I want to make this video. We may do a follow-up video with however you guys react with comments. I might probably look at them at some point on my stream or something like that, because I think you guys have great ideas. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about the video. And yeah, it's just one of those times where like I haven't done one of these in a while, and I really wanted to talk about all this built up like ideas that I have towards FIFA. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I can make FIFA a better game, because I can't. But these guys who work at EA surely have the talent and the degree and the experience to do something like this, right? Where like I'm showing you other games, they have stuff. Let's go, like get a move on it, right? And not to mention, like EA, you guys are losing FIFA next year, so that's a big deal. Your game is not going to be FIFA anymore. It's going to be EA Football or whatever you think it's going to be. And there's other games being made. Like, maybe you could sit back and say, oh, wow, these games can't touch us. They're not even close. They're probably not, but I'll tell you, man, there's some people that will be just playing whatever else is out, So I think you don't want to lose out on a huge opportunity while you still have everybody playing your game, because I don't know if everyone's going to be playing this game forever while there's other options. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys later. Peace.